but I think Shahs and Kathy, I think everyone else stays. So thank you for confirming. That's what I think. Ah, that was long-winded.
Loved it.
Ah, it's
All
okay.
right, we have exits, and
Yeah.
I want to know what you think of Mikey from Shaw's of Sunset being sued by
Ooh.
Paulina, and the images coming out of the physical abuse she is documenting the very first time he laid hands on her. And I got to say, that guy looks like a real asshole, and he looks like he's on roids. And I don't have a lot of redeeming things to say about him. But have you interviewed Mikey? Have you interviewed Mike?
No, but I've revealed this on the Patreon last week. I interviewed Paulina. I've people who listen very closely have heard this before. I interviewed her. Remember I told you the story? I told
Yeah,
you this?
yeah, you did.
And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm not talking out of school. I'm sure I have the raw video audio somewhere. She was saying something, and off camera, you hear scream, "Do, do, 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 do," and it was not in English, but it was clearly the voice of Mike. I mean, we all know what Mike sounds like. He's on the TV and he speaking to her in another language, and she petrified, and she said, I have to stop the interview. I will be back on the Zoom. She hung up. I said, she ain't ever coming back on. I waited, tail between my legs, up my asshole. She came back on. We finished the interview. I asked if everything was okay. She said something like, oh, yeah, he was just like, I don't know what that excuse was, but I was like, David, and this is also like in my first year. Now I would be like, girl, it doesn't seem like you're safe. Like, blink twice if you need help. But he was listening to the whole interview and he got very upset with her. And then this happened. She came back, and I'm like, Jesus, I better move on. Petrified. So I witnessed that firsthand. I mean, I'm not making it up. I have audio and video to prove it. And look, I think pictures could be viewed in different ways. So I wish that I watched a video. I would be so, but I mean, I'm not doubting this. And he does look, I mean, did you see in one picture, he's like looking at the camera? I'm like,
Oh, he
what kind
looks,
of,
I mean, he's
what type of
unhinged.
sicko is this?
Absolutely putting
Looking
his
at
hands on her. And I don't even know, how do you pronounce his last name?
Mike
Shoed?
Shouhed, yeah,
Shoed.
Shouhed.
Former
She's
fiance
suing.
Paulina Ben Cohen claims that she was viciously, brutally, and repeatedly assaulted and battered by the Bravo star during a March 2020 incident. They are former fiancés. In a court document filed in LA recently, Paulina sued the 45-year-old former Bravo star for alleged assault and battery, gender violence, and intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Doesn't sound like it's
Um,
so good for him.
he ain't ever going to be back on television, I would certainly hope. I
No.
mean,
No, and I think he's part of the reason. Look, Shaw's had bad ratings at the end, but they could have come back without Mike, but this was also right before the show was canceled. I think that has something to do with it. The ratings weren't great. Look, if the ratings were great, like Vanderpump, they would have said, "See you, Mike," and brought back Reza and the others, but they weren't great. So it's just I think it helped lead to the end of Shaw's, but I don't think it caused it. No, I don't think he'll ever be back on television. No, no,
awful.
darling. No, it's
Whack
not going to
job.
happen. A little bit of a
Um,
whack job.
yeah, a lot. I mean, look, those images are terrible unless they're doctored. I don't know. I mean, and I'm not absolutely saying those images are 100% real, and I completely believe he was vicious towards Paulina. I mean,
I
no,
mean,
stop. Who would ever be with him? Ugh,
I
no.
mean, yeah, listen, you guys have to work out your anger management. You should never put your hands on someone, right? I mean, come on.
Never. He's too damn old. And look, women are nuts too. So men can certainly find themselves in positions, and I'm sure gay men are crazier than hell as well.
Oh,
So I'm sure
honey,
you
you know
can.
how many battered gay men there are by the husbands? Really? I can go down the
I
list of
believe
people I
it. I
know.
believe it. These people are nut jobs out here. And of course, they're on every medication, as we know. Get in an Uber in Los Angeles. I mean, my God, their eyes are just as crystallized over as you can get. So, I mean, there's whack jobs in everywhere, men, women. But I mean, yeah, you cannot put your hands on someone. And if you are in that situation, oh my God, you do whatever you can. I mean, Paulina did whatever she could to get out of that situation. And I give her a lot of credit for getting away from him. Oh, what an asshole. I mean, he was a mess the whole series, but you weren't sure how much of that was for TV or not. But it's like, okay, good luck. Goodbye. Um, do you want to talk Potomac? There's a lot to talk in Potomac.
We could do Potomac quickly. I mean, Miss Huger, Sharice Jackson Jordan has spoken out and said, "You can keep counting my coins, girl, because the town drunk is out." Andy protects her, truly original protects her. Y'all protect her, but let me tell the people, this is the Karen Huger that stumbles around the upper streets of Potomac. That time y'all saw the real Karen, a drunk Potomac. What do you think of that?
Miss Jordan also alleges that Karen was at one point in rehab and never finished the program and needs to head back.
Wow.
Look,
Karen,
I don't
Karen
know.
Huger headed for rehab.
I watch these shows for fun and escapism. Same with, I never realized that Wendy Williams, I never realized that Wendy was never sober. Like Wendy's been she just traded cocaine for alcohol over a decade ago and was an alcoholic for years and was falling apart behind the scenes on the Wendy show, but they kind of kept it going and kept it going. She, I guess when she was kind of with Kevin, he
Hmm.
propped her up, got her out there. And I didn't know that. So I didn't know. I have never, I was in the DC region for 15 years as a morning radio personality in Fox 5 DC. I had never heard the rumor she was an alcoholic.
You never
She's been
ran
on my
into her
show.
bloodshot eyes, anything
Never,
like
never.
that?
None of those women. I mean, Ashley and Michael were super fun. Been out drinking with them, but I've never seen Michael act crazy. I've never seen any of them. I had never heard those rumors, but
You want to hear something sick? You
what?
and I met last night. I had the one glass, I didn't even do vodka. I had one glass of rosé. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this. I have a slight, tiny bit of a hangover today from that one glass of rosé. I need something's wrong with me. So I don't get it. Apparently, she had bloodshot eyes, and I'm hearing mixed reports. If you read a lot of the things, it says there was alcohol closed in the car. Someone, a reliable source, said no, there was open alcohol containers. I don't. That's not what the reports say, but they say she refused the breathalyzer and she was like refused to call Ray, and they just took her away. And I mean, that tree don't look, and listen, this is like, I'm sorry, I don't, we've losing a parent is a horrible thing which changes you in life, but to say that she had an emotional conversation with her friend and Mother's Day is coming up, I mean, this happened in like mid-March, okay, the end of March.
You're nearly 70. You're nearly
Right.
70.
And Mother's Day is coming up in like a month and a half, darling. So, yeah, it's coming up, but it's not coming up like in an hour. It's coming up in a month and a half. And you were driving. I mean, great try for the mother sympathy card. And you were driving home and you were crying so hard that you couldn't see anymore. Well, even if that is the case, you pull over, but now you swerve off the road to avoid an oncoming car. I mean, were you in their lane? Did you just think they were in your lane because you were trashed? And I mean, did you see that tree? Did you see that tree?
I
It don't
did.
look like